My name is Will.
And I'm Karen.
And unlike Mulder and Scully,
we both want to believe.
So we've embarked on a journey of discovery.
We've talked to people deeply entrenched in the spiritual and metaphysical world.
We've thrown ourselves into weird and wonderful experiences. I even joined a coven of witches.
And wait, you joined a coven?
Yep, all in the interest of finding something.
Anything.
That will prove that there's something beyond this physical,
three-dimensional world we all live in.
This is the Skeptic Metaphysicians. Hey there, welcome back to the Skeptic Metaphysicians, the show that proves that you don't have to choose between having a working brain and a wide open mind.
You've got them both right here. Don't ask which is which.
I was just going to say that. We don't know which is which, but one of us is open mind and one is... Anyway, I'm Will. I'm one of your hosts.
And I'm Karen.
And we're thrilled to have you with us again today. We're excited to talk to you live. But we're doing something a little different today, and we're really excited about it. And to give you a cryptic little tease, we have we've actually blown it up. We've been promoting the heck out of the show. So we have a 5th generation psychic on the show today, and she is open to answering your questions. And we actually have gotten a ton of them that I'm going to be reading. I'm hoping they'll show up so they can hear their question answered, but if not, they'll get it on the recording anyway. But we're excited to welcome her because she's something else. Doing some research on her, she had a live show on the Vegas Strip.
Oh,
she's worked with people like Tony Robbins and all kinds of. I'll give you an introduction later. But in the meantime, Karen, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you.
Good. You look very smiley today.
I'm happy. We've got a great guest on the show. We're going live again. I have you by my side. What more can we ask for?
Not much.
Not much. All right.
Maybe some chocolate.
Dang it. Now I want some chocolate. All right. Well, before we get started, I did want to read an email that we got because it moved me so much that I think I really want to share it. And I waited a little bit till I had permission from this person to read it, and he has given me permission. So basically he says, I just want to drop a line to say hello, let you know that I'm still listening. My name is Jamie. Leave it there. A couple of years ago, you were kind enough to have a Zoom call with me to help me out with starting my own metaphysical YouTube channel. This guy's a longtime listener. I talked with Will while Karen was busy in the background and gave me a friendly wave. I truly believe I came across you guys for a reason, and I do not believe in coincidences. One episode in particular recently was the mother who lost her son, Eric. I remember that episode so well. I read the book and listened to that podcast twice. Wow. This came at the ultimate time for me, as my son's best friend also ended his life a month ago. He was only 16 years old, and he had been my son's best friend since they were 5. His mom is still grieving horribly, and my son is not doing well, as would be expected. This has given me some tools to speak to my boy and tell him some things that might ease his mind as he deals with a life without his friend. So thank you very much for doing this. I just wanted to make sure you knew that what you do really makes a huge difference in this world. Keep up the great work. You're both wonderful souls. That makes it all worthwhile for me.
Absolutely. That's why we're doing this.
That's why we're doing it. That's why I have to read that letter, because every once in a while we get one that just moves us so much that we have to talk about it. And the book he's talking about is the book that we have for free right now, digital copy. If you sign up for our newsletter, just go to skepticmetaphysician.com/newsletter, sign up for the newsletter, and you can download that digital copy of that book for free. It's basically Eric from the other side talking about what it's like on the other side. So it's pretty fantastic, pretty wild. So okay, I'm just too excited. I gotta bring the guest on. Do you have anything you want to talk about before we get her on?
No. Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Well, then let me introduce her. We talk to a lot of people on the show who can see things that others can't, right? But tonight's guest is doing something a little different. So she's trying to make sure that you can see them too.
Oh,
yep. Her name is Dallisa Hocking, and she's a 5th generation psychic medium and the founder of Spirit and Spark. And what sets her apart in a crowded field is that her entire philosophy runs counter to how most of the psychic world operates. See, she's not here to be your oracle, Karen. She's here to make you one.
I love that.
I know.
I love that so much.
Right. Well, tonight she's joining us live, and she has agreed to take your questions on the air, given that her whole mission is helping people ask better questions and trust what comes back. That feels like a pretty perfect format to me. Welcome to the Skeptic Metaphysicians, Dallisa Hocking. How are you doing today?
Oh my gosh, I love your intro. That email you just read,
right?
hit me straight in the heart. Woo.
Yeah.
Because
It,
sometimes when you're on, YouTube, for example, and you don't really know who's listening all the time, and you
Mhm.
kind of hope you're making an impact. And
yeah.
getting an email like that, I think, makes all the difference.
It
All
does.
the difference,
It does. It
absolutely.
makes all different. And the same, I mean, when you say it hit you in the feels, when I first opened up the email and I read it, I literally had to compose myself because it meant so much to
Mhm.
me. And I edited a little bit for time. He goes on a little bit more and shares more accolades, which selfishly I would have loved to have shared, but I thought it was a
But
little too
that's not the
much. But
point of the
it's
email.
not. It was not the point. So thank you, Dallisa. Okay, I am excited to talk to you,
Me too.
and I do have some questions before we open up to the audience. And we've got about, I think I've got 13 questions here that
Oh.
I'm going to ask you. Yeah, we've got 13 sent in already. So, and who knows what's going to come up here. In fact, I should probably do this so people know what they can do. Okay, all right. So let's just establish who you are, Dallisa, because on top of answering great questions, you have a great message that we want to make sure we get out to the world. Right. So 5 generations of psychic ability in one family, right? At what point growing up did you realize that that wasn't normal? And did you ever wish that it was?
Well, I grew up in a family that was very open to all of it.
Mm,
My grandmother is behind me here. She's who I would sit with in her living room, and she would talk to me about the spirits that she would see walking through her house. She could actually see them with her eyes, like her physical eyes. And she'd tell me what they were wearing. And, I was, as a kid, half terrified and half intrigued by what the heck my grandmother Eloise was going to tell me. But yeah, so that's her. That's actually her mom up here. My great grandfather's up here at the top. So I have all these photos of incredible people in my family that have been a part of this story. It's actually on my dad's side of the family. And yeah, we can trace it back to at least my great grandmother, Belle. And her gifts and my grandmother Eloise's gifts really operated in the same way, as far as I can tell. But my gifts didn't drop in until August of 2015. This was
mm.
not what I thought I would be doing for a living. So it's been an interesting last, nearly 11 years now.
Right. So your
Wow.
aptitude test in college, I mean, high school did not mention psychic medium. So how long did it take you to kind of position yourself purposely so you could just kind of point out and know exactly where things are? That was
I
pretty
know,
impressive.
that was impressive. I'm like, she's just nailing it right there.
I was on a podcast tour recently, and I feel like I did about five to seven podcasts a week.
Mm.
So I got really good at pointing.
Gotcha.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. But no, I didn't think that this is what I was going to do for a living. I actually was a dating coach and a matchmaker.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had started a company and was doing that in 2015. I was also working at a business school in Texas. So
Mm.
I really did not think, which, sounds kind of ironic coming from a psychic medium. I didn't even know the gifts were coming, right?
Right.
So, but it
that's
all
why you were,
happened.
and say that's why you were a good matchmaker.
Yeah, I really didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I was going to. It sounded like a good idea at the time, but I think
Mhm.
if I were to do, matchmaking again, I would definitely do it from more of a spiritual, energetic lens. But when
Mhm.
I had started that company, I wasn't a psychic medium as far as I knew,
Right.
but everything changed overnight in August of 2015, and literally overnight, and all of my gifts dropped in, and here we are.
All right.
So how did that happen? Like overnight? Like what was the catalyst?
Yes, I had gone up to the Omega Institute in New York State, about
Mm.
100 miles north of LaGuardia, to
Mm.
give people an idea of where it was at. And I went last minute. I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go. I found a really cheap flight. There happened to be a seat left in this class, and the whole weekend was about synchronicity and how this group of people had basically proven or shown through data and studies that nothing happens as an accident. So, how ironic that this is where everything happens. I go on the trip. A lot of synchronicities happen while I'm there at the retreat, but the hallmark was the last night of my trip, when just so happens that I had a friend that I knew from a project in Las Vegas who had a house next to the Omega Institute out in the woods. And he said, why don't you just come over? We'll catch up. We haven't seen each other in a while. So I do. And while I'm there, he gets a phone call from his family letting him know that his Aunt Barbara had died unexpectedly that day. She had fallen down a flight of stairs.
Oh, wow.
And, I feel terrible for my friend. And, but I don't know his family. I've never met Aunt Barbara. I go off to the guest bedroom because it's pretty late at that point, and I'm going to go to bed. I just got done with this meditation at this workshop, and I was really relaxed. And Aunt Barbara, who had just died, came through to me while I was sleeping. I could actually see her in the astral state. So I could see what she looked like. And she didn't move her mouth, but she asked me telepathically to deliver a message to her nephew, to let her nephew know that she was okay and that she had made it to the other side. So, I get up the next morning and I remember it right away. And I could feel the magnitude of what had happened. And I went out to the kitchen where Peter was already standing and delivered the message. And he asked what she looked like. And I described her hair, her facial features. He said, that's her. And then a couple days later at her service, he snapped a photo of her that was on display at the service because I hadn't even seen her at this point, And so I get this text message a couple days later from him with that photo. And I literally was in a restaurant having lunch, and I dropped my phone and started like tearing up at the restaurant. It was exactly as she had looked a couple nights before when she had come through. So that's what started everything. I'm like, this is what my grandmother Eloise would always talk to me about. And now it's my turn. And if Aunt Barbara, who I didn't know, could come through, what the heck else is trying to come through?
No doubt. That's what scares me, actually. That's what I'm worried about. Well, so then you took it and ran, right? Because you've trained with people like Dr. Raymond Moody, right? The man who literally wrote the book on near-death experiences. You worked with Tony Robbins. You had a show in Vegas, right? So like you just dove straight in.
Yeah, I think that happens when we align with what we were born to do. And I think the timing, I was in my mid 30s when all that happened, when it all dropped in. It changed my life. It changed everything about my life. But I'm glad they came in later at, mid 30s, because I'd already owned a couple companies. As I said, I was working at a business school in Texas. Like I had a lot of business acumen. And so by the time the gifts dropped in, I could take it and run with it because I'd already had a few different companies that I had run before. And that made a huge difference. But yeah, it started with a beta test. And when I got home from the trip to New York, and I thought, okay, I want to see if I can replicate this. So I used actually the same meditation files that we used at the retreat for binaural beats. And I put headphones on, and I asked a group of people who I knew but didn't know the details of what was happening in their life at the moment. But I thought they might be open to something like this. I reached out to them and I said, this is what happened, and I want to test this. Will you allow me to channel for you? And I wrote their name at the top of a piece of paper, and just me in my living room with my headphones and the pen, I would start writing down everything I would see, hear, feel, know. And then I would get on the phone with them and I'd say, don't tell me anything. Just let me get through all of my notes. And I just want you to tell me if I'm accurate. And by the end of so many of those calls, I had so many people say, I don't know how you knew that about me. Nobody knows that about me.
Wow.
And I said, well, your secret's safe with me. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity. And yeah, it was like rocket fuel after that. I decided to move back to Vegas, where my immediate family was living. And I thought, if I'm going to be a psychic medium, Vegas would be a good city. And if I need a shower and a hot meal, I have family there if I fail miserably.
Right. That safety net.
Yeah. And the exact opposite happened. So I ended up opening up my own spiritual center in Las Vegas. I had the live stage show that was actually at Binion's, which is a haunted hotel and casino. I had that. And then, we all know what happened in early 2020.
Mhm.
Wow.
And then everything went virtual. I took everything online. And so I've been running the company virtual since then. And now I have students and clients that live all over the place. So it makes it a lot of fun.
Wow,
Wow.
I
Yeah,
bet.
that sounds
I
awesome.
bet.
I just want to point out that one of our longtime listener, one of our closest friends is here, and she says, "Hey guys, love how I always land on Facebook when you go live. It just, you know, it was meant to be, Kat. How can I tell you?" But she goes on and says that Raymond Moody is actually one of the reasons she became a hypnotherapist. I mean, Raymond Moody is responsible for a lot of people moving to the space, so I can't. I'm not surprised by that at all.
Do you want to
So,
hear a random story about
yes,
okay.
please.
So I went to college at UNLV in Las Vegas.
Mhm.
And, you get your course catalog. Back then, you had it in paper and you'd go through and you'd look to see what classes you could sign up for. I swear to you, Raymond Moody taught a semester at UNLV and the whole semester was on near death experiences. When I saw that class was listed, I about fell out of my chair.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, in full circle, I will be asking him soon to I want to interview him
Mm,
because I actually haven't talked to him since that class. Um, but it was a huge game changer just in, how I viewed life and
yeah.
what happens when we pass away.
Yeah.
When I was a child, I grew up out in the Seattle area, and my pediatrician at that time, this was years before any of my gifts came in, he was the leading expert on near death experiences in children. So I kind of had like these touch points over the years where you look back and you're like, of course I'm a psychic medium. Like all these weird things happen. But yeah,
Right.
Raymond Moody was an excellent teacher
Right.
and really went in depth with all of his studies and research. So it
Right.
was a great opportunity.
Well, if you get a chance to talk to him, let him know that he has two fans here that would love to have him on our show as well. Just putting it out there because, well, that'd be great. So I've got a lot of more questions for you, but before we go down that road, I do want to answer. I'll give you the first softball, right? Just a little softball question that's going to be super easy. But David in Chicago asked it, and a lot of folks that are listening to the show are just starting out, so this makes perfect sense. So the question is, we posed the request for questions in a way that it was more general, right? It's not like, hey, will I become famous, but rather something that might pertain to more people. And so the question from David was, do you think everyone has psychic abilities, or is it something only certain people are born with?
That's an easy question.
Softball, right? And then we like to start it slow and make it easy for you. So, yes. What's
we
the answer?
all we all have these abilities. I think some of us are born with stronger inclination to be able to do it maybe faster, easier. I mean, I think I have something in my genetics because I'm fifth generation at least. So I think once the gifts came in, it was much easier for me to be off to the races. But a lot of my students don't have that family lineage. They don't um, have any kind of real background in doing psychic work or anything like that. And I teach them how it's vibration.
Hmm.
So I know you've got a lot of questions, and we may cover this in some other questions, but basically, whatever vibration we are at, whatever frequency we are at, if we can raise that, then we can tap into psychic information. So, like past, present, future.
Mhm.
If we can
Mm,
raise it even higher, then that's where we can start doing things like mediumship and channeling. But not all psychics are mediums.
Mhm.
But all mediums technically should be psychic because you have to bypass the psychic energy to get high enough to get into the mediumship energy.
mm,
But mediumship would be channeling usually somebody that's passed away or an animal pet that you've lost that's died and communicating with that. But psychic energy is actually, in my opinion, much easier and quicker to be able to get into by being a frequency match to the energy of the psychic awareness. It's a little bit more challenging to get into the mediumship frequency, but it is possible. And of course, there are mediums out there that are good.
right.
But anybody looking to develop these skills, I'd say, start with psychic awareness and some channeling.
Mhm.
And you might find that that's all you need. And then some people will continue on and do more more education.
Right. So all psychics are mediums. No. All mediums should be psychic. Not all psychics are mediums. What about if you're an extra large? I'm sorry.
I feel like an extra large some days.
It has begun.
I like it.
All right. Kat has also put down another. You can see within someone's natal birth chart if they are dialed into their abilities or if it's more of a struggle to connect. That's interesting. I didn't know that you can see that in the.
I didn't know that either.
All I see in my natal chart is you're going to have a hard life. But that's it.
No, it's true though. Like I have Sun conjunct Neptune in my natal chart, and my Pisces moon in the 10th house squares a bunch of my stuff. So anybody that ever an astrologer looks at my chart sees it all over it. So, and I read people's charts and I can see, sometimes I see where there's like a doubt in oneself, which can be connected to Virgo energy. And what they have as planets or sensitive placements in their chart. Virgo energy in a low form can be very self-critical, and it can be hard to connect if you don't believe that you can.
Gotcha. Wow. I didn't know that. Learn something new every day. I'm so glad we do the show.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so in the intro, I teased the fact that you are not a typical psychic in as much as you prefer not to be considered an oracle, but you rather would help others to develop their own intuition or become their own oracle. So it makes sense when you talk about how aligning our frequencies to that space, but how? How does someone align themselves? Because
and you would like it in step form, right?
Yes,
Step one, step
yes,
two.
and if you could find the quick button, like the fast forward button, I would really appreciate that.
Yes. So imagine you're at the doctor's office and the doctor says, you need to get in better condition. It's very similar to that conversation. So doctor's probably going to tell you, drink more water, eat better food, get more sleep, meditate, have some time with nature, relax, like all those things.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing.
Okay, wait, you're going too fast. I need to write this down. Hang on a second.
So ask yourself, how could I be healthier as a person? Like, what could I do to reduce my stress and be healthier? Those are the very simple things that will help to raise your frequency. I get a lot of pushback. Oh, my cat has decided to join the party up here.
Yes. And she decided to show us her best feature right off the bat.
Yeah. Sometimes she likes to eat plants, so I keep an eye on her in my background. So you can do all of those things. I get a little bit of pushback when I say the low-hanging fruit is meditating, because a lot of people say, oh, I can't meditate. My brain won't quiet down. And at first, your brain will be noisy when you're trying to meditate. I would find a guided meditation that you really like. It could be on YouTube. It could be on the Insight Timer app. They have a ton of free classes on there. But find something that you like listening to. I like Steve Noble on YouTube. He's got great meditations on there. But find what you like. But start incorporating it into your life. You don't need to do this every single day. But if you start meditating at least a couple times a week, just with your eyes closed, just listening to the sound of whatever's coming through your headphones, you will start to notice you'll become more and more sensitive to your intuition. And the more you do it and you set that intention that you want to know more and learn more, then you will have access to that. So journaling and meditation are two really important factors. And some people ask me, well, what's the best way to journal? How do I use journaling to become more psychic? There's a practice in the book called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And the practice is every morning, 3 blank pages and a pen and no journaling prompt. And you write until the 3 pages are filled. And I will tell you, it will knock your socks off in the best way, but you got to set the intention and put the time on your calendar to do it.
Right.
But if you commit to that, if you did just meditation and morning pages as part of your routine, you would become more psychic than you are right now. And I'd say you could probably start doing it in about 30 days.
Wow, 30 days. Well,
Wow.
that is the fast forward button. At least I think
It
so.
is.
And-
But you got to do the writing.
but I don't mind writing.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, I might be okay. I'm gonna hold you to that.
Okay.
30 days from now, I'm gonna Dallisa. I don't know what happened, but I'm not. I can't read your mind anymore. But so I'm not the only one that's doing it. Kat is on board too.
Oh.
So woohoo! All right. So I want to move on to the next question because we got a bunch. I don't want to run out of time. Some folks like David are Chicago whose question we read earlier are new. Others are more advanced in the space on our show. And Sandra seems to be one of those. It's Sandra from Atlanta. And her question is, Dallisa, I've been told my whole life that I'm too sensitive and I feel things too deeply. Is that actually a psychic ability trying to get my attention, or am I just an anxious person?
I think that it is a sensitivity that is connected to psychic abilities. It's called clairsentience.
Ah,
And you can feel things in your physical body. Some people will refer to it as empathic. Maybe empathic is like on one level, and clairsentience is like more of a psychic ability. But you can kind of think of it about like walking into a room. Are you somebody that can feel the room, or you can feel if the couple in the corner had just had a fight, or you want to go stand over on that side of the room because those people feel nice and friendly, So if you're somebody that can walk into a room and feel that, you could probably, amp up your clairsentience even more if you wanted to. But the price of being sensitive is being sensitive. So if you're going to lean into that more and develop that more, you will also, in my opinion, need to practice boundaries and psychic hygiene with like clearing your energy and only tuning in to those messages or those sensitivities during certain business hours. I know that sounds really funny, but spirit will sometimes think it's like a 24/7 operation and wake you up in the middle of the night or when you're at dinner with family or whatever.
yeah, no, I'm out.
I think that's what's going on with our daughter.
Oh, you?
I do. I think that's what's going on with her. She's just been having these weird, like she can't explain the reason why she feels the way she's feeling.
Okay.
I think that's what it is.
Maybe waking up.
And you can turn it off and on. So I think a lot of people don't realize that psychic communication is a two-way street. So you can tell them, spirit, I only work when I'm at my desk with my computer on. Don't bother me unless it's really important. Or you can say, like, don't wake me up in the middle of the night. I need my sleep. So you can set stronger boundaries. So if you are sensitive and you feel like it's too sensitive, maybe ask yourself, when is it appropriate for me to feel this sensitive, or where do I want to turn this off? And then practice asking for it to be turned off when you don't want to work with it.
Gotcha. All right. All right. So I just have to ask you another one because I love this person's name, even though I can't pronounce it.
I was waiting to hear you pronounce it.
She's from Dublin, Ireland. So you can tell, and I'm so sorry. I'm Aoife is the way it's spelled. Aoife? I can't. I'm so sorry. I hate mispronouncing people's names, but this beautiful person, Aoife from Dublin, Ireland. Her question says, growing up in Ireland, there was always this quiet acceptance of the unseen world, spirits, premonitions, things that couldn't be explained. Do you think certain cultures are more naturally attuned to this kind of awareness than others? It's a great question.
Great question. And I love Dublin. I think that there are naturally some cultures that are more open to it. I've just naturally seen in my work that people that have like a Hispanic and South America, like I get a lot of people that are interested from those parts of the world. And I think as I say that, my observation is a lot of them already have their own practices and people that they go to, and their families have been, talking about this for generations. So most of my clients and students end up coming from America, Western Europe, and Australia.
Oh.
And I think it's because there are a lot of pockets, especially in the United States, that haven't embraced it. And so people that are starting to get curious and wake up to it, they don't really know who to go to or who to talk to
Right.
because their families haven't been talking about it. So I do think that different parts of the world have different experiences.
Cool. Well,
I would agree with that.
since you brought up Australia, we got to go to the one question from Australia that we have, right? Because I just
Oh, look at that.
I know. So first and foremost, the lovely person from Dublin. Sorry, I couldn't pronounce your name, but thank you so much for listening and for sending the question. I really, really appreciate it, and I am really sorry. Hope that answered your question. But Priya in Melbourne, Australia says, I come from a Hindu background where intuition and spiritual connection are deeply embedded in the culture, but I've always struggled to reconcile that with my very Western analytical education. How do you bridge those two worlds without one canceling the other out?
I think we can embrace all of it. For example, I grew up Catholic. I have necklaces on right now that are a cross, and they're miraculous Mary metal. And I get questions a lot about wearing these. And I've had many, many people on social media, for example, say, well, you're a psychic medium. Why are you wearing a cross? And I think we can open our awareness and our perception much wider. I don't think it has to be a one size fits all. I think we can ask ourselves, what do I believe about spirituality? What do I believe about psychic awareness? What do I believe about religion or Jesus or any of that? So I think we can create our own experience here, and what we believe doesn't have to look like what anyone else believes. So I would say stay true to yourself more and give yourself permission to come up with whatever it is that you believe and how you want to work with that in your own life. But I wouldn't let anyone talk you out of anything that you believe, especially if it's something that uplifts you and inspires you to live a better life each day.
That's great. Yeah. At the end of the day, you have to decide what you are and who you are and stick to that, because we're getting bombarded by all kinds of people telling us, no, this is what you're supposed to be.
And a lot of people believe that languages are just different, like almost like different dialects of the same language, or not languages, cultures,
different
or
modalities,
religious systems. Right. I need more coffee.
I know.
But you
at 6 o'clock at night. Yeah. So I want to take a break from these questions for a second, because I've got one. I'm just burning in my mind. I've got to ask you, and it's going back to the Vegas show, because I'm just fascinated by that. Right? Was this? I remember I'm a big sci-fi guy, and back in the day there was a show on Sci-Fi where John Edwards would do these from the audience and stuff. Is that what your show was like, or what was your show like? I'm really curious.
It was like that. The whole thing started because I would take media, like news reporters, through different rooms of the hotel, and they would write stories about the hotel being haunted. So the hotel said, hey, do you want to have your own show? I was like, yeah, let's do it.
I got nothing going on for the next year and a half.
Yeah. And it was a lot of work. I learned a lot, but I did the set. I produced it, everything. So I would stand on stage. It was a 90-minute show, and a couple of components. One, I had a beautiful lady named Brandy who's a shaman, and she would open the show and do some drumming as we opened it. But I would pull up on stage usually during a show about 5 people one at a time, but get through about 5. And I'd have them come and sit with me on stage, and I'd have them just ask me a question. And then I would tune in and channel on the spot for them. And then, they were like, oh my God, this is amazing. So then at the end of the show, I would call people up from the audience, and I would teach them how to bend spoons. So they did that. And then they get to take their spoon or their fork home with them as proof of the power of the mind, because the mind would heat up the utensil hot enough to bend it. So we did that. And then I would close every show with whatever spirit felt like that audience needed to hear that night. So it was some kind of message from spirit, and that was the show, but it was fun.
Dallisa, we've got to work together. I want to bend the spoon so bad.
So I have to ask, so that the spoon would just bend, or do they have to help bend it, or?
They would help bend it. You can, with enough practice, you can bend it without touching it.
Wow.
But for anybody, I take you through a guided visualization. You're holding it. You hold it like as light as you can with just like a couple fingers.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not intentionally like putting the heat of your hand into it.
Right.
So you hold it real lightly and I walk you through it and you heat up the utensil and then you can bend it. So yeah, we should, if there's enough interest, we could do a class and have your audience come and take the spoon bending class.
That sounds really cool. But
I would love that.
Yeah.
You know, it's so funny. We're talking about all this spiritual stuff, and I'm like, how do you bend a spoon?
and then we have people who are listening in who say it's easy. Oh yeah, it's easy for you to say, Kat. That's nice. And how did I not know that you could do that?
Yeah,
That's not
exactly.
That is not right.
For us non-spoon benders,
Right.
we want to learn.
Well, that sounds really cool. So when people work with you, how, like, what's the most, why do people reach out to you the most to work with you? Like to become psychic, or to bend spoons, or to read natal charts? Like what do you help the people with the most?
I'd say it's a toss up between people that come to me to learn to be more psychic. And the second thing, I just talked about this earlier today because it came up in a conversation, past life readings. So I channel the records and go into full channeling where I come out and I don't remember hardly anything I just said. But I channel, usually I can get to about 3 past lives during a 90-minute session. And so that's, I think, by far now the one that most people come to me for. But I also really, I have one that's 2 hours long where it's for people that really want to do a deep dive. And I personally really love those ones because we have enough time to talk about all of the things. Like I like to get in and go deep. And so I can look at their astrology chart, and I can look at tarot cards, and I can channel for them. But sometimes I've noticed in the industry, session times can be really, really short, and they don't really let you like get into the meat of it if it's too short. So I tend to like a longer time with my clients.
Right. Yeah. It's like me. I used to like really short meditations, and now I can't really anything be below half hour. I'm just like, it doesn't quite
What's the
do it
point?
for me. Right. What is the point? Right.
So I have a question. You said that it's you can turn it off or turn it on, or say, these are my work hours. So I've heard different things from different people that we've interviewed. Some people say that you have to, when it's on, you have to call spirits in. Some people say that they're just everywhere. So for you, which is it? Like, are you just like, you turn it on and they're just like everywhere, like hordes of spirits, or is it just like maybe one, or you have to call them in?
It depends. If I'm channeling, like let's say I'm asking a question about the world, like maybe I want to look at the war. I will ask the question and I will channel directly from source energy. So I don't necessarily like pull in one being or, one guide. I'm just going straight to source and channeling.
Wow.
When I'm working with a client, like maybe there's something going on in their life that I think their spirit team of angels and guides could help. I may call them in, and then the room can get pretty crowded because there's a lot of beings there. So it kind of depends, in my experience, of what you're looking to achieve and what you're doing. And that can help dictate what energy you work with.
Okay. So you're calling them in. So we're not like walking through our hall, walking through ghosts without knowing it. Hopefully not. No.
No.
So I do remote house clearings because I've just been contacted by so many people over the years that feel like they have a spirit in their house and they don't know who it is. They don't know how to get rid of it. And so sometimes we have a portal open in our house and energy can come in and out of that portal. And so if you think you might have something in your house, you're probably right, but you can close the portals. I usually ask Archangel Michael to help with any energy clearings and closing of portals. And so you can just firmly ask him to come in and help close portals and remove energies. Sometimes it's within the physical house. Ironically, They're usually inside of a closet or like underneath stairs, almost like in
I thought you were going to say the bed. I was about to freak out. Like, where's the off button?
No, the energy kind of will get trapped in different parts of the house though. So I would definitely be clearing if you're doing any sage or Palo Santo or crystals, I'd be doing that in closets and under staircases. But I would also, if you're going to do like sage, for example, I would go around the exterior perimeter outside of your house too, because sometimes it's the land and it's not actually the house that has a spirit attached to it.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, you know, underneath our stairs is a pantry.
Oh,
It's a spooky place. So.
Well, I don't mind if they're here as long as they don't freak me out.
Right.
I always have that conversation when we move. If someone's here, you can stay. Just don't freak me out.
Yeah. Well, since you brought it up, it was one of the questions I was going to hold towards the end, but I think we need to ask it because it's so. Kat says salt is a nice addition.
Oh.
So yeah.
I use black salt.
So the state of the world. The biggest question mark in my mind for the last, I don't know how long, is how the heck do we get out of this? And do we get out of it? Because,
I mean, do you want to know?
I mean, I do. I really do. Yeah. It depends on whether Dallisa wants to answer or not.
I don't know if I want to know.
Right. Close your ears. I'll tell you it's safe.
Yeah, because I still channel and I still make predictions. I think it's something a lot of people are interested in, especially with the world we live in today. Based on everything I've seen in my channelings, we have to move through it to get out of the other side of it. So spirits referred to it as the dismantling that we're going through right now. And so all the systems basically that we are tied into, could be healthcare, education, real estate, stock market, foreign affairs, all of it. Like it's all on the table for dismantling or what do they say? A heavy renegotiation. So basically they have said that the more self-reliant you are, the better you will get through these next few years. And eventually we get to the other side of it. But sometimes I think it's going to feel like we are inside of a movie. And it's why I'm going to Disclosure Day, the new Spielberg film on Friday, the day it opens, because I have a strong hunch that this movie is going to be more like a documentary than it is a fictional film.
Yeah. Well, he has said in interviews that everything in his film is real.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
He has flat out said that. Yeah. So which makes me maybe not want to go see it. I don't know. Because I read Communion and I had to sleep with the light on for 2 weeks. My roommate's still mad at me. We won't go anywhere further than that. But so how specific do you get your things? Like, can you tell like who's going to win an election specific or that kind of stuff? Or is it more general?
Yeah, a couple of examples would be when I predicted that Trump was going to win, I had so many people like throw hate at me and unfollow me. And I'm like, I'm literally just looking at the energy. I try to stay very politically neutral. But yeah, that's an example. And I had predicted his wins. There was on my Instagram and likely on my Facebook, but if you go on my Instagram and scroll back to January of 2025, I have a video that I did after waking up. I'm literally no makeup and in my pajamas. And it's a 60-second video about a dream I had just had. And the dream had an airplane and a helicopter colliding. And I say, Spirit said I need to talk about this. Here's the video. I post it. And it did really well, like for views. But a couple of days later, unfortunately, when the helicopter airplane collision in Washington, D.C. happened and killed all of those people,
right?
There were so many people that remembered the prediction from a few days before that I think it gave credence, gave proof to the fact that we can receive premonitions and we can see things in advance. There wasn't anything in that dream that gave me any kind of specific detail where I would have been able to stop that. But even if I had seen something like a flight number, do you think anybody would have taken me seriously? Probably not.
Right.
But yeah, sometimes the information that comes through is very, very specific.
Yeah. Wow. Kat, I'm not going to put your comment up because I don't want to cause fight, but just for those that are watching, you can see it here because.
So you just put it out.
Yeah, I'm not going to read it out loud.
Oh,
yeah, that's for everyone to make up their own mind about. But
yeah.
All right, so let's. The time is flying by. This is like the fastest live show we've ever done. I want to see, Karen, any of these questions like jump out at you?
There was one about dreams. This one, because I have dreams over and over again.
Okay.
I'm always dreaming I lose my passport. It's like a weird dream I have.
From Michael in Denver. I keep having the same dream over and over. Should I be paying attention to that, or is it just my brain processing stress?
It's probably both. But if a dream comes in repetitively, I would pay attention to that because there's going to be some kind of meaning. And your brain will probably keep showing it to you until you figure it out. But I think that also dreams that are very vivid, like the one I just shared about the helicopter and the airplane. I knew the instant I woke up that was something very different than a normal dream. So I'd pay attention to when they feel almost like hyper color or hyper detail or a feeling that you have inside of you that you just can't replicate. Because a lot of people have dreams with a loved one that's passed away and they'll ask me, was that really them? I'm like, did you feel like you were with them in that space? Yes. Then it's them. Like, but you'll feel a difference. There's a difference between your brain processing something and you trying to kind of sort it out in the subconscious mind. But dreams where a loved one will come in or a premonition usually just have a different quality to them. So pay attention when they feel a little bit different. But it sometimes just takes a moment where we have to sit and ask, like, why do I keep dreaming about losing my passport? Right? It's sitting with it long enough to ask that question, like, what does my passport mean to me? What do I feel like I've lost? Because it's not usually the literal meaning. So asking yourself, like, what is a symbolism of the passport? Or do I feel like I've lost something that I'm trying to find again? Yeah. So sit with it and kind of, you can journal about it and get curious, but I would look at the reoccurring elements for details.
Cool.
And I did have a dream with my grandmother, and I think I told you about this. She had passed, and maybe it was 6 months. And in my dream, I was at my dad's house. She lived with him until she passed. And I walked out onto the porch, and he was sitting at the table with his wife, and she was sitting there with him, and they couldn't see her. But she looked at me and we made eye contact for like 2 minutes and she just kind of nodded her head. And that was the whole dream. So I'm like, I know that was her. Like, I know that was her.
They stick with you. Like, they're very, very memorable. And you just know that there was something to it.
Yeah.
We've only got 10 minutes left. And I would be remiss if I didn't at least open the floor and say, Dallisa, is anything happening to be coming through for us that might be screaming that you need to tell us about?
Or even just whispering?
Or do we have to wait till we stop recording to talk about it?
No. Have you received an invitation? Maybe it hasn't come in yet, but from someone asking for you to be a part of a live event. Have you received that invitation yet? The reason I ask that is because when I'm looking at this with your question, I'm seeing a stage and I'm seeing a microphone and I'm seeing you walking across the stage. So I know there's something, and there's people in the theater, but it feels like part of like an in-person experience. So if you have never considered taking your show on the road to some degree, there could be some energy there around going into some cities and having people come and join you live as part of like a live show experience. But it feels like you're going to be getting more invitations as well to bring your voice and your stories on stage.
Wow. I love that.
Me too.
So I'm just going to put it out there right now. If you're listening or watching this and you have an event you want us to go to, let us know. We're completely open. And not only that, but I want Dallisa to be right. So
Yes, me too.
Yeah, there's a show, a true crime podcast called Crime Junkies.
I know it.
And they do a live tour. And so as I was channeling on that, I could even see like little symbolism about their live tour. So you may want, they just put out an episode not too long ago where it's them inside of an auditorium. So if you want to start to kind of get ideas or channel on that yourself,
Mhm.
you might want to look at their episode and see what they're doing.
You know, my only fear, I mean, that sounds great. My only fear is what happens when we go live here is that we have this big press tour and we do the live event and we open up the curtains and there's 2 people in the audience. And then that would hurt my heart. So
Yeah.
Start small. You can do an in-person event that has 25 people and you say there's 25 tickets and when they're gone, they're gone. Just so you start getting more in-person interaction is what I'm feeling. Like your brand is going to have something to do with an in-person gathering. But it feels like it's not just one city. So it feels more like the energy of maybe just a few cities and then limiting how many tickets there are and create that scarcity.
from your lips, because that is literally the thing I have been trying to manifest.
Ah, okay.
Whenever,
Well, there you go.
maybe that's what you're picking up from me. I don't know, but there is a.
It's going to happen.
Oh, that's amazing, because when I sit down to think, you know, when they say you know what does your life look like, you know, the best case scenario, whatever, that my thought is always I'm traveling the world, talking to people about this stuff, and it's not that I'm an expert in anything, but rather I'm helping connect people, and that's really what I see. Karen, myself, our daughter, we're just traveling the world, and that's really what we're doing. That's what we want our lives to be. So. Oh, please,
There you
Dallisa,
go.
please.
Yes.
There you go. Create
Yeah.
the scarcity. Limited number of tickets available. And they're just adding this on. There may be something that you bundle with the ticket. So they're taking me back to something you did at the very end of your very beginning of this episode where you had a free ebook when you sign up for the email list. There's something like that. You'll come up with it. It'll be creative and amazing. But it feels like it's not just the ticket, but there's something like bundled with the ticket for the tour. So let the sky be the limit on what your creative brains come up with. But there's something.
Something like, you know, if you buy a ticket, you get to donate to our fund too.
There's something that they get. There's like something in addition to the ticket, it feels like. So yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Well, that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
We have just a couple of minutes. I want to make sure that we cover anything that you really want to make sure that we talk about, because I know that you were nice enough to come and be a guest on our live show. So we want to make sure
Thank you for that.
Yes, huge thank you for that. First and foremost, how can someone reach out to you if they want to work with you? What's the best way for that?
Yeah, whether it's a class or you want to do past life session or a deep dive into your life, go to the website. Everything's on the website. My social media accounts are on the website. Spiritandspark.com, right there. Spiritandspark.com.
It's like you knew.
It's like magic. Wow. Yeah, I manifested it.
It's magic. Yeah, there's something really cool I've got on the 2 cool things I would mention that are both free. One is on the homepage. I have a 10-minute reset audio file you can download to your own device, and you can use it whenever you need an energetic reset.
Ooh.
So that's on there, and that's free. And then in the menu of the website, you're going to see something that says Summer Speaker Series or something to that degree. The Summer Speaker Series, I have 12 different speakers, and it's all totally free. I'm not going to upsell you anything. And it's 12 brilliant people that are going to, it kicks off with Rick Levine, who's a legendary astrologer, the week of the official beginning of summer. And so every week there'll be a new speaker and a new talk coming out. Suzanne Giesman is one of the speakers. She's awesome. She was actually, so she was actually one of the very, when I told you the story about going to the retreat on synchronicity in New York at the very beginning, she was one of the people running that retreat.
Oh, wow.
And then
That's
all
awesome.
my gifts dropped in. So now I'm interviewing her all these years later. So so that's coming up, and I would love people to be a part of that, and they can jump on Zoom and ask questions of the speaker in real time. So
cool. So is this a virtual event or is it live? Virtual. Cool.
Well, the live piece is on Zoom and people can join that live audience.
Mm.
And then anybody that can't make it, it'll come out a few days later on
Gotcha.
YouTube and on Substack.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna mention this. This is kind of top secret because I haven't announced it yet.
Oh, well, we won't tell anybody.
I have a project that I am launching on June 25th on Substack. And it's going to be taking some different things I've done over the years and blending them together. And it has to do with unsolved crimes and psychic abilities.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
You heard it here. You should definitely connect with Dallisa on Substack because you don't want to miss that. So you've added one subscriber at least because I gotta know.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, Dallisa, you are wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on, being a guest on our show. This has been so much fun. The time flew by. I think we need to have you on like 5 more times. We only went through. We only went through like what 4 questions.
I think so.
So we still have a lot.
Sorry, everybody.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. So what we might do is maybe we'll send you a list, and you can maybe we can. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But
Yeah, I'd love to come back.
okay, well then there you go. Maybe
Awesome.
The show's now changing from the Skeptic Metaphysicians live to the Skeptic Metaphysicians and Dallisa Hocking live
Perfect.
for the next foreseeable future.
Well, she can foresee the future. So.
Yeah, that's true. She would know. Yeah. So Kat says, juicy stuff. Thanks, guys. Great show. Thank you so much, Kat. You are wonderful. We love you so much.
Yes.
Thank you for always tuning in. And Dallisa, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I look forward to next time.
Oh, we do too.
We do too.
Take
Talk to you
care.
soon. I did end the stream, but it didn't end.
Oh.
So we'll end it.